When I exposed Marco for not being able to trade and not running his mentorship program, a whole lot of people called me jealous, a hater, for not being able to do what Marco can do. Well, today Marco is being exposed for exactly that. And a whole year, 2-3 years later, it proves me right. Let's get straight into those screenshots. FBI, open up! So in the past, I've exposed Marco for employing Ellie and Mike to run his mentorship programs for him, and the reason he was fighting me on it was because once that gets exposed, that will prove to you guys that Marco can't trade and I was right all along. In this screenshot, you can see Michael, who is Mike. He posted this and he says, from some old students that was in Marco's mentorship, the client says, I left your old college, man. People are getting screwed like crazy. Join the group that he wants to sell more shit to the already confused Marco's mentorship. Michael asked, can't call it that, Michael. He is busy messing up people's lives. He posts only the guys, the one or two that make profit, as it's the whole grail. When one is uncertain, he keeps quiet. I challenged him to a student trade-off and said he must bring 5 out of his 200 students and I'll bring 5 out of my 24. He unfortunately declined. So this is sad to see Mike going up against Marco, but it also makes me wonder what happened between the two of them. Michael posted this as his second upload. Then he offered to bring one student from his scalping strategy to take on my best student only using what we taught them. So then his student must use the scalping strategy but wanted to use Wyckoff instead, showing that the scalping strategy doesn't bring results. So I responded that only 1 out of his 200 can trade. 13 out of my 24 students make money after the mentorship. That's 54% of my students. His profitable students is 0.5% with a cold face emoji. Then he blocked me on WhatsApp and said that I'm wasting his time. Talk about the big dog running away from a challenge that he asked for. Open your eyes, people. What you see on Instagram ain't it at all. And if Marco cannot honor that challenge with one of his students, I can guarantee you that he will never ever honor a challenge where people are challenging him to a trade-off. We have seen it in the past. Mike then uploads, I don't go around and do stuff like this on Instagram, but it's about time that someone put light on the situation that went on at SMG. Here's the thing, Mike. When I exposed it, when I made light of it, when I brought all the dockets open to prove that you and Ellie was running the mentorship, no one supported me. Sure, my followers and my subscribers did, but you guys that was on the other side, no one ever called out Marco for that shit the day I posted it. But anyway, let's move on. We gave 4 classes per month per group and 4 recap classes. Out of the 8 classes, 5 of them was given by myself per month. So every time we met the students, 62.5% of the time it was me having classes with the students. So ideally, the results of the students came from my teaching and Ellie's teachings and Ellie's hard work, not Marco. Didn't I say this a long time ago and people were fighting me on it? People were calling me jealous. 62.5% of the time I was teaching the students. Let that sink in. Furthermore, so SMG's students' results was the result of myself and Ellie's teachings. Marco gave 1 class a month and sometimes didn't even pitch for the class. Then either myself or Ellie had to jump in and do it for him. But he was quick to rack up cash for the mentorship, but when accountability came into play, he never pitched. Whenever we called out Marco and tried to hold him accountable for his mistakes, nobody would come out from that side to support us and to support our claims. And then flashed the same cash he made from the mentorship on Instagram, which was the marketing strategy in SMG. I've exposed that as well. I didn't agree with his morals or the way he does things, which is why I left. Good for you. Now he says I got fired. Classic Marco trying to spin the situation, but in reality, I just realized that I'm building something for him. That's very unethical. So I decided not to build and put all my effort into SMG anymore. I can only imagine how angry that must have made Marco.
Talo. Sorry.
Which is why I left and started supply and demand workshops. At one stage, they was asked that I mustn't put that much emphasis on supply and demand, and more on Sacha because Sacha is selling the course. He also never sent the signals. Ellie did, and I tried to do it the way they wanted, but struggled because my style of trading is completely different to how he wanted the signals to be sent. When I told you guys he wasn't the one sending the signals, and when he sends signals, it all goes to shit. I was called jealous, I was called a hater, but look now. So when Ali left, he decided to stop the signals and focus on the scalping strategy. He stopped the signals because Ali left because he can't give it. Open your eyes, guys. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I promise you I can go into depth even more. Just please open your eyes. His scalping strategy ain't the holy grail. He made his money from teaching. When I did the math, people were calling me mad. When I did the math, people were calling me crazy and jealous. But look now, here you guys are getting people that was on that side of the fence that's now confessing where his money actually came from. There was on average 40 to 50 people in the groups in the 2 years that I taught. 24 times 40 equals 960 students. 960 times 6,500 will give you 6,240,000 rand. When I did the maths, I was called crazy. That's 3,120,000 per year only from teaching. That's easy to make money with money like buying gold and trading diamonds. He gave Ellie 80k per month and myself 6k per month. I believe you meant to say that he gave Ellie 8k per month and yourself 6k per month. When we exposed him, he was only paying Ellie 5k a month, which is also why I left. I did 62.5% of the work for 2% of the money per month. But okay, I'm done now. It's because of stuff like this that Forex has such a bad rep in our market. Now, how do we build trust? Which is exactly what makes me mad and why I decided to put light on it. Now guys, I just want to ask, where were the support when I put light on these things? Where were the support when I cupped open everything and keep in mind every time I came to speak, there was evidence for these things. When I came to do the math to show you guys where Marco is actually making his money from, people were calling me crazy and insane. If someone is truly making money, they would not use inspect element the way Marco did. But nevertheless, let's get into another screenshot. Someone is sending, I've been in Marco's strategy since the first ever one. I backtested, tried and tried, but it never made sense. I've been trading for a few years now. I'm well informed, so I knew everything he was talking about. When I backtested, numbers didn't lie. It was all a dream I was sold. Crazy how when I'd ask him questions in the class, I'd get shat on and told I don't listen. When I made that video that shows how Marco disrespects his clients, people called me crazy. And look now, here's a screenshot where Marco was sending a message to the specific client and he says, you must know one thing, it's all about results. I already have 17 people in the week and it's only Wednesday. By Friday I'll have 25 people plus. Results. Nobody gives a damn about supply and demand or some 3 months mentorship. They want money and they want money now. Simple as that. And the strategy, call it whatever you want, but it brings out results. The client then responds, you know what? I would put money on the fact that my students will kick your scalping strategy students' ass. Okay, so that was a message between Michael and Marco. Because obviously, this is two mentors that's arguing in the screenshot over here. But guys, why didn't people believe me when I came out with this? When I told y'all Marco was scamming you guys. When I told y'all as a client Marco doesn't respect you. When I told you guys that once he takes your money he doesn't care any further. Why was I not supported? Where was the support for me? Now everything is coming out and it proves what I was saying was right all along. Here's another screenshot. So we sold the get rich quick trading side. Real trading ain't get rich quick. When I exposed him for it, nobody stood by my side except my subscribers and followers. But the last screenshot that we have here, you can see that someone is calling his scalping strategy into question. The guy that made 200k in his scalping strat wasn't even trading the scalping strategy. The guy that made that himself said he was trading supply and demand, which makes sense now because I'm sure it's what you taught in the mentorship. Oh my, that is a response of Michael, and Michael then tags that by saying, this is just one of the many of you replying and sending testimonies about the experience at SMG. Now, when I came out with this, people didn't believe me. When I did the maths, I was crazy. But look now, I was right all along, and I want you guys to realize that I'm not moving from a place of hate. Regardless of the fact that Marco exposed my address, regardless of the fact that Marco was really trying to get at me, I never moved with hate. Because for me to move with hate, I was going to have to sink a little bit lower than he sank to do all of those things. And I wasn't prepared to sink any lower. Instead, I moved with the truth and I stood on business when people were questioning me, when people telling me I'm jealous, when people were saying I'm only doing this because I'm poor. I stood on the truth, and now the truth has finally come out. I'm very keen to hear what you guys have to say about this. To my subscribers and my followers, I'm very keen to hear what you guys have to say as well, because you guys that's been supporting me, all I can say is thank you. Here you guys can see, I don't talk cock. When I have the evidence, I will come and bring it to you guys just as it is. But please, to my followers and my subscribers, please let me know, what do you guys make of this situation after the multiple attacks I've sustained from Marco and his crazy fans? Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers.